And we've seen local schools taking action in response to this. Michael Cornell joins us now. He's the superintendent of Hamburg Schools and President of the Erie-Niagara Superintendents Association. So what can you tell us about how schools in Western New York are responding to what we saw in Texas?
The immediate focus for schools in the region today was on doing whatever it takes to support our children, many of whom came to school today with complex feelings and difficult questions. We have amazing educators in Hamburg and across Western New York, school-based mental health professionals like counselors, social workers, psychologists. Everybody who works in a school today was just doing whatever it took to help children process if they needed time and space to do that.
And Michael, there were a lot of parents who shared their thoughts online today, talking about how hard it was to drop their kids off at school this morning and saying goodbye to them this morning. And it probably also didn't help that schools in Olean and Jamestown had to go into lockdown at points today because of threats. They were eventually found to be not credible. But as a school leader, what do you say to parents? What's your message to help calm those fears?
We talk all the time about, keeping kids safe in a school is a combination of two things. We need to harden the shell of the school to protect against violent intruders, but at the same time, soften the environment inside the school so children experience joy and value and connection through that school experience. So schools, certainly here in Hamburg and schools all across Western New York, have done all kinds of things to make sure that schools are much more difficult to penetrate. Reconstructing and hardening entryways, establishing single points of entry, onboarding school resource officers, and enacting multiple updated safety protocols, all designed to keep violence at bay. And that commitment continues and is never going to waver. I mean, every school superintendent who comes to work, every school leader comes to school knowing that job one, and this has been like this for a long time, as far back as I can remember, certainly as far back as I've been in leadership. Job one is to make sure that everybody who walks in the door in the morning goes home safely to their families in the evening. Nothing is more important than that.
Absolutely. You mentioned school resource officers. Governor Hochul said today that she has asked state police to check in on schools daily between now and the end of the year. Is that helpful in your opinion? And do you want to see more of a police presence in schools?
Yeah, I think the governor's heart is in the right place when she makes that suggestion. I think back to my time as a principal in Amherst. We worked with the Amherst police to have their road officers over the course of a week would periodically stop at our school, Amherst Middle School. And interestingly enough, the chief of the village police and I had a conversation a couple of weeks ago about doing exactly that. And today, as it happens, today was the first day that happened. So we had a couple of village police officers as over the course of their regular duties of the day, were walking through our schools and building relationships. There's a lot of aspects to the presence of a uniformed officer in school. Safety is obviously one of them, but the building of relationships between children and local police and the staff and families, that's a really important part of it as well. I think it's a great idea. And it's one that I know happens in local communities like Hamburg every day.
We've been talking with Hamburg School Superintendent Michael Cornell. Thank you for sharing part of your night with us.
You're welcome.